guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would talk a little bit about strong-willed kids and parenting, and really just parenting in general. So even if you don't have a strong-willed child, hopefully some of this will be encouraging to you. I've talked a little bit over the years about how we have one strong-willed child in our family, and over the summer I Snapchatted about my woes through the summer of surviving, and I by no means am making this video because I am an expert. I am making this video because I am in it with you. I am going through it. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to survive. One thing that has just been really helpful for me is knowing that I'm not alone. And I have some other friends, not a lot, but I have a few friends. I have a sister. Actually, two of my sisters have a strong-willed child in their family too. And when we talk, it's just so comforting to know that I'm not alone in the stuff that we're dealing with and the feelings that I have about it. And I just wanted to kind of create a video so that we could have that safety to let you know that if you have a strong-willed child, or if you're struggling in parenting, period, that you're not alone. We're all going through it. We all have different varying degrees of struggles in parenting. And if you don't, to God be the glory, because it's just very rare. My strong-willed one was born strong-willed, and this child pretty much screamed so much straight from birth that they dehydrated themselves, and they had to take my baby to the nursery and give this baby milk, like formula, because they essentially dehydrated themselves. They were very colicky, very just loud, and had a lot of opinions straight out of the birth canal, just born that way. And nursing was really intense with this child, to the point where there was just damage. I'm not going to go into detail, but there was damage. So much damage that a lactation consultant actually told me to stop nursing. Going into the toddler years, we dealt with some extreme tantrums in public, at preschool, pretty much everywhere we went. Fall to the ground, very dramatic, very intense, very exhausting tantrums. Terrible 2s, terrible 3s. I remember when this child was like 4 or 5, we were really dealing with a lot of just behavior stuff, very strong-willed stuff. And so we decided we were going to take away this child's toys, all of their toys. And we told this child that they could have all the toys back one by one as the behavior improved. We thought this would be so dramatic for the child, and instead, as we're packing up the toys, our child is bringing us toys. Like, here mom, you forgot this one. Here's one more. Oh, don't forget about this one. Like, not at all fazed. They were not going to give in to show us that this sucked. I think we kept the toys for a good 6 months. Little by little, they got a toy back here and there, but it took a lot of time. I remember a lot of our friends thought we were crazy, but we were just like, what can we do? It's so much. We have to like get control of this, and that was one idea that we had. Even now, when we talk about it, we all laugh. It's funny. It's a funny memory. At the time, it was not funny. Now that our child is a little bit older, that strong-willedness is just developed into new things. So it's like the same character is just kind of morphing into new challenges. In the summer, being home, I got to really, really experience that to the fullest. And I really got to a place of despair. I don't know, I can't say like I was depressed. I wasn't like clinically depressed, but I was just in despair and sad, just feeling so sad that this was our life. Like, I just had this kind of heavy heart, and I don't know. And I was just really seeking wisdom. I started reading a lot of books. Clearly over the years, I have read a lot of books. a lot. And this isn't even all of them. I have more books on my Kindle and in storage. I've read all the parenting books, and I am constantly trying new strategies, and when that one doesn't work, and that's one thing with strong-willed children, is that they keep you on your toes, because you'll think one strategy is working and that child will figure it out and you'll have to move on to the next. Strong-willed kids will keep you humble and they will keep you on your toes. One thing I want to say about books is, while they can be incredibly helpful and encouraging and have a lot of wisdom and a lot of tips, I just realized, however, that every book made me feel a little bit like I was failing. I would try all of the techniques, all the formulas. I wasn't getting the results, or I wasn't able to keep up with them all. And I just felt like I was failing. So then I move on to the next formula and the next book, and I would try that, and it might work for a little bit and then it wouldn't work. And then there's always going to be a book. There's always going to be a formula. There's always going to be tips and tricks, and it can get overwhelming. I'm realizing now at this point in my parenting journey that while I will still continue to read books because I love learning about different people's approaches and people's wisdom, I can't be legalistic about the information that I'm taking in. I can't say that this is the way, and I can't tell you that there is one way to parent your kids or your strong-willed kids. There is one way, and it's what the Bible says, and all of the other stuff that's out there is like extra credit. If it helps, great. If it doesn't, pass it on. So if you like to read books too, I will have a list of the ones that I found to be really helpful and I think are not super like this formula and only this formula type of books. I think I'm not going to recommend a lot of those, but I'm going to share just in the description box below a few that I think are really helpful and insightful and have been really helpful for me. I also know of a few really good podcasts that have been so encouraging to me, like life-changing encouraging to me when it comes to parenting, so I'm going to leave a link to those below too. I do post stuff like this in the Beauty Perspective Facebook group off and on, so if you're a member in that group, you'll see articles that I come across and I just share them there. So make sure if you're not a member there, you become one, because it's just a fun place where we can keep in touch even outside of these videos and share our tips and tricks and things that are encouraging us. So know that I'll be doing that often on that page. One thing that we actually are going to start doing, and not just with our strong-willed child, but both of our children, is that once they become a preteen, we are going to choose 3 to 5 people. For our son, it will be 3 to 5 men. For our daughter, it will be 3 to 5 women, godly women and godly men. And we will choose these people with the help of our child. So with Taylor, we sat down with him and we said, who are some men that you really look up to, that you would love to spend more time with? Maybe just have them be kind of like a mentor to you. So he named a few people. Then Jimmy and I kind of prayed about a couple more people. We reached out to each one of these men and just asked if they could commit to 2 months a year. And they have to give us the months that they look at their calendar for the year and say, I choose September and February. These are my months. And one time in that month, they're going to get together with Taylor and just do something special with them. Go play soccer, go on a hike, go out to eat, whatever they want to do, and just spend a couple hours bonding with him, being a person that speaks wisdom and truth into their life, because our kids are not going to always want to listen to us. It really does take a village. I want to use the resources of our community, of our friends, of our church, and I know that I cannot be all things to my kids. And so I just pray that they will always have people in their life that they can go to when they don't feel that they can come to us, that would just be a guide and be a mentor and speak godly wisdom and truth into their hearts and lives. I know growing up, I initially was raised in a Christian home. My parents got divorced, and both parents for a while kind of fell away from their relationship with God. And when I saw that happen, I found myself questioning a lot of things about my faith. But God had placed in my life a few key people. I had my Sunday school teacher, who was my Sunday school teacher when I was 4. She was still in my life. My neighbor, who was a godly woman, Norma, I loved her. Just a few people like that who remained in my life when I didn't have my parents. And I think that because of those people, I was able, not that I always stayed strong in my faith, but it helped me to remain in my faith. So that's something that we just recently decided we want to do for our kids, is be intentional about choosing those people. I will keep you up to date. We're just starting this with Taylor, so maybe I'll give you an update at the end of the year and let you know how that whole thing has worked out. And my prayer is that these people will just remain in his life indefinitely. And if it's not a good fit, or something doesn't work out, we're okay with that. It doesn't have to be like 5 people, but we just decided to go with 5 this time. One thing I want to say before I end this video is kind of what I shared in my life update. And that is, we are doing this parenting thing as obedience to God, as worship to God. And yes, we have a portion of the responsibility of how our kids turn out, but we do not carry all of the responsibility for how our kids turned out or turn out. It is partly our responsibility, partly our child's responsibility, and ultimately it's up to God, and He is sovereign and He has a plan for this child's life, and we are not so powerful as parents that we can thwart God's plans for our children. And so we do the best we can. We do it as worship, and we leave the results up to the Lord. And you have to trust that your child, your strong-willed child, or your shy child, or whatever type of child God has given you, God created them that way for a purpose. My husband was very, very strong-willed, more than our child is. And he did not have godly parents. He did not have a great upbringing. He actually had a really traumatic upbringing, and yet God still worked in his life, and he is the most godly, amazing. He's just so gentle and loving, and I look at him and I'm like, how did you turn out like this? And it's because of the grace of God, and you have to trust in that for your child. When I look at my husband, I am so thankful for his strong will. It kept him from doing a lot of really bad things growing up. And I was not a strong-willed child. I was a people pleaser, and that people pleasing actually got me into a lot of trouble. I didn't say no to things because I didn't want to hurt someone's feelings or be looked down upon. And in those times of my life, I kind of wished I had a strong will then. So when I look at our child who has a strong will, instead of being sad that they're this way or discouraged, I just have to remind myself that God created them this way. God gave them this character and this personality for a reason, and I have to do the best that I can in parenting him, the best I can in showing him Christ, and praying that God will work out that strong will to glorify him in my child's life. And that is something that I had written down, is that our job is to point our children to Christ, not to be Christ. We are to be Christ-like. We are to love our children as Christ has loved us. And along the lines of that is, we can't follow the law as far as like formulas and this, and this well enough to earn the salvation of our kids. It's not up to us. So we have to release that. Okay, so I think I'm getting a little rambly. I don't even know if I've made any clear points or if I've even been helpful to you, but I would love to just continue this conversation over time. Maybe I'll make another video down the road as I continue to learn more, and hopefully this just opens up a conversation even in the comments below or on the Beauty Perspective Facebook group of just the things that you're learning, the things that God is showing you, what has been helpful to you, just where you are. And maybe you don't know what you're doing, you have nothing to share, nothing to give, and you're fearful and you're scared and you're lonely and you're discouraged. Share that as well too, so that we can encourage you and pray for you, because I have certainly been there, and I know I will certainly be there again. So love your children, do the best that you can as worship to God, and just release the results to the Lord. He is sovereign, He is just, and he is loving, and he has a plan. If this video was helpful to you, I would love it if you would give this video a thumbs up, maybe share with some of your friends, and if you're not subscribed, I would love to have you. I hope you guys are having a really great day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. We downsized to a tiny, tiny house, under 1,000 square feet, 2 bedrooms. It's really small. And now that we're here and more settled, I'm realizing I don't even want my Alex 9 drawer anymore. I actually want to go through each one of those drawers and get rid of, I would say, 70% of the makeup that I have, and just get one small little vanity with one drawer, and that's all my makeup.